Welcome, gents. Why do Sigma males strike fear into the hearts of narcissists and manipulators? It's not because they're loud or combative, far from it. It's because their presence exposes cracks in the very foundation manipulators build their power on. Sigma males don't play by anyone's rules but their own. They don't need to seek approval, they don't fall for cheap emotional tricks, and they certainly don't give manipulators the satisfaction of control. Think of it this way. Narcissists thrive on attention and control, but Sigma males thrive on independence and clarity. It's not just a clash of personalities, it's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. The harder manipulators try to trap a Sigma, the more they lose their grip and their patience. In this video, we'll dive deep into 12 brutally honest reasons why Sigma males terrify narcissists and manipulators. These aren't your typical cliches or surface-level traits. We're breaking down the unique ways Sigma males disarm, expose, and ultimately walk away from toxic individuals without breaking a sweat. So if you've ever wondered what makes the Sigma mindset so untouchable, stay with us. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just what makes a Sigma male different, but what makes them powerful. Watch, reflect, and if this resonates, stick with me for more rare insights into the Sigma mindset. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Number 12. They treat manipulation like a cheap parlor trick. Sigma males have a knack for cutting through the noise and seeing manipulation for what it truly is, an unimpressive act of desperation. While manipulators pride themselves on their so-called cleverness, a Sigma looks at their efforts with little more than mild amusement. To a Sigma, manipulation doesn't feel threatening or sophisticated. It's more like watching a bad magician try to pull off a tired trick. The same predictable tactics, the same attempts to confuse, guilt, or pressure. It's all so obvious. Because they recognize manipulation so quickly, Sigmas don't give it the emotional weight manipulators are counting on. They don't flinch, argue, or fall into the trap of trying to prove themselves. Instead, they let the manipulator unravel under the weight of their own theatrics. The Sigma's calm, almost dismissive reaction is like pulling back the curtain on a magician to reveal the cheap props. It's embarrassing for the manipulator and infuriating because their master plan has been completely disarmed. What makes Sigmas so effective at handling manipulation is their deep self-awareness and emotional independence. They don't need approval, and they don't fear rejection, which are two of the main hooks manipulators rely on. When those hooks don't land, the manipulator is left flailing, unsure how to regain control. To a Sigma, the entire spectacle of manipulation is beneath them. It doesn't challenge them. It only reinforces their belief that true strength lies in authenticity, not deception. This leaves manipulators powerless, exposed, and deeply frustrated. Number 11. They respect themselves more than the relationship. Sigma males have a unique and unwavering principle. Their self-respect always comes first. This mindset makes them untouchable to manipulators, who thrive on creating emotional dependency and using the fear of loss as a weapon. To manipulators, the relationship is the ultimate bargaining chip. They count on people being so afraid of letting go that they'll tolerate anything just to keep it intact. But with Sigma males, this tactic is useless. A Sigma male values authenticity and mutual respect over any superficial bond. If a relationship becomes toxic or manipulative, they don't stick around trying to fix it at the cost of their dignity. They see no point in preserving something that erodes their sense of self. This terrifies manipulators, who rely on guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or exaggerated displays of affection to keep their targets hooked. When these tricks fail, the manipulator is left scrambling to regain control. But Sigmas don't give second chances to toxicity. What's truly intimidating is the ease with which Sigma males walk away. It's not out of spite or coldness, it's simply a refusal to compromise their own values for anyone. They're not dramatic about it either. There are no heated arguments or attempts to explain themselves. They just leave, unfazed, and don't look back. This self-assuredness sends a clear message to manipulators. The Sigma male is immune to their control. Their ability to prioritize self-respect over any relationship makes them a force that manipulators cannot handle or manipulate. Number 10. They let manipulators dig their own graves. Sigma males have mastered the art of patience, and this alone is enough to unsettle even the most calculating manipulators. While most people feel compelled to react immediately when faced with lies or schemes, Sigmas take an entirely different approach. They don't rush to confront or call out the manipulator. Instead, they sit back, observe, and allow the situation to unfold naturally. This calm, calculated approach gives the manipulator just enough rope to tangle themselves in their own web of deceit. Manipulators thrive on controlling the narrative, but Sigmas understand that lies and schemes are inherently fragile. The more elaborate the manipulator's tactics, the more likely they are to crumble under scrutiny. Sigmas don't feel the need to intervene because they know time and truth are on their side. They quietly collect evidence, note patterns, and wait for the inevitable moment when the manipulator's story unravels. By the time the manipulator realizes what's happening, it's already too late. The Sigma has not only seen through the act, but has also positioned themselves 10 steps ahead, completely unscathed by the chaos. What's even more unnerving is that Sigmas rarely confront manipulators with explosive drama. Instead, they calmly present the truth, leaving the manipulator exposed, humiliated, and powerless. This patience and foresight make Sigmas a nightmare for manipulators. They don't just resist manipulation. They turn the manipulator's own schemes into their downfall, making it clear they were never fooled to begin with. Number 9. They make narcissists feel ordinary. Narcissists thrive on being the center of attention, constantly seeking validation to prop up their inflated sense of self. They need to feel special, superior, and irreplaceable, and they'll go to great lengths to ensure others feed into this illusion. Enter the Sigma male, a person who doesn't play by those rules and couldn't care less about ego games. Without even trying, Sigmas make narcissists feel ordinary, and for someone who fears irrelevance above all else, this is unbearable. Sigma males treat everyone with the same level of respect and detachment regardless of who they are. To a narcissist, this feels like a deliberate slight, but for Sigmas it's just their natural way of being. They don't inflate egos or offer undeserved praise. If a narcissist expects to be treated like royalty, they're met with the same calm, level-headed demeanor that the Sigma gives to anyone else. This refusal to put them on a pedestal is kryptonite to a narcissist's fragile self-image. Even worse, Sigmas don't seek approval, so they're immune to the narcissist's usual tricks. Flattery, manipulation, or attention-seeking antics fall flat because Sigmas see through the act and refuse to engage. By not giving narcissists the validation they crave, Sigmas unintentionally force them to confront their own ordinariness, which is the one thing they cannot tolerate. This dynamic leaves narcissists frustrated, powerless, and deeply unsettled. To a Sigma, it's not personal, it's just authenticity. But to a narcissist, it's nothing short of a nightmare. Number 8. They can smell desperation. And it stinks. Manipulators often cloak their desperation in a facade of confidence, using charm or assertiveness to mask their true motives. They thrive on convincing others that they're in control, that their words and actions are deliberate, and that they hold the upper hand. But to a Sigma male, this act reeks of neediness. They have a sharp instinct for detecting when someone's behavior is driven by insecurity or an ulterior motive, and once they sense it, the manipulator is as good as undone. Sigmas don't need to confront or expose the desperation directly. That's not their style. Instead, they disengage subtly, often in ways the manipulator doesn't fully grasp until it's too late. They may stop giving energy to the interaction, shift the conversation, or simply offer a calm, detached response that leaves the manipulator feeling unbalanced. This quiet withdrawal robs the manipulator of the attention and validation they so desperately crave, forcing them to scramble for control. What unnerves manipulators most is the lack of acknowledgement. Sigmas don't react to emotional bait or call out the underlying neediness, which means the manipulator's efforts feel like throwing punches into thin air. Over time, this dynamic exposes the manipulator's true nature. They become increasingly erratic. Their confidence dissolves, and their desperation becomes impossible to hide. To a Sigma, the whole act of manipulation is tiresome and transparent. They don't engage because they don't have to, and their quiet disinterest is enough to leave manipulators floundering, exposed, and utterly powerless. Thank you for being a valued subscriber, gents. Your ongoing support is greatly appreciated and motivates us to continue creating meaningful content. We truly value your engagement. Number 7. They make manipulators obsolete by solving their own problems. Manipulators are experts at creating webs of dependency. They position themselves as the solution to problems they often subtly create or amplify, convincing others that their intervention is indispensable. But Sigma males dismantle this dynamic effortlessly because they don't rely on anyone to solve their problems. Their self-reliance is so deeply ingrained that it doesn't just make manipulators unnecessary, it makes them irrelevant. When faced with challenges, Sigmas don't wait for help or look for external solutions. They analyze the situation, weigh their options, and take decisive action on their own. This independence isn't driven by arrogance, but by a genuine belief in their ability to handle whatever life throws at them. If a manipulator tries to position themselves as the problem solver, they quickly discover that Sigmas have already addressed the issue, or are well on their way to doing so. Even more unsettling for manipulators is that Sigmas often end up solving problems for others too. Their practical mindset and no-nonsense approach make them natural problem solvers in group dynamics. This not only deprives manipulators of the opportunity to play the hero, but also exposes their tactics. When someone steps up with real solutions, the manipulator's facade of usefulness crumbles. For manipulators, their worst nightmare is being rendered obsolete, and that's exactly what Sigma males do without even trying. By refusing to depend on anyone and maintaining full control of their lives, Sigmas strip manipulators of their leverage, leaving them with no role to play and no way to regain power. Number 6. They make gaslighting feel like a joke. Gaslighting thrives on confusion, distortion, and self-doubt, but Sigma males are immune to this psychological manipulation. Their grounded nature and clear sense of reality make them impossible to sway with lies or half-truths. When someone tries to gaslight a Sigma, it's not just ineffective, it often backfires spectacularly. Sigmas don't get caught up in emotional arguments or frantic attempts to prove what's real. Instead, they approach the situation with calm precision, analyzing the manipulator's words and actions like a puzzle to be solved. They don't argue or get defensive, they simply present facts, evidence, or even their own unshakable logic. This leaves the manipulator scrambling, their attempts at deception unraveling in real time. What makes Sigmas especially dangerous to gaslighters is their ability to stay emotionally detached. Gaslighting works best when it creates doubt and triggers an emotional reaction. But Sigmas deny manipulators that satisfaction. They remain calm, collected, and completely unfazed, which only highlights the absurdity of the gaslighter's claims. Even more unsettling for the manipulator is that Sigmas don't just resist gaslighting, they expose it. They might subtly point out inconsistencies or ask sharp questions that force the gaslighter to trip over their own lies. This can make the manipulator appear not just wrong, but ridiculous, leaving them embarrassed and powerless. For a Sigma, gaslighting is less of a threat and more of an annoyance, one they quickly dismantle with logic and composure. In the end, the manipulator is left looking foolish while the Sigma walks away unscathed, their reality intact. Number 5. They aren't intimidated by confrontation. Sigma males aren't the type to go looking for conflict, but they're absolutely not afraid to face it head-on when necessary. Narcissists and manipulators often use intimidation as their weapon of choice, banking on the idea that fear or discomfort will force their target to back down. Most people either freeze or try to avoid the confrontation altogether, giving the manipulator the upper hand. But this strategy falls flat when it's aimed at a Sigma. What makes a Sigma male so formidable is their calm confidence in the face of intimidation. They don't overreact, they don't panic, And they certainly don't let emotions cloud their judgment. Instead, they meet the confrontation with a level head and a sharp focus, addressing the situation directly. Their approach is firm and clear, leaving no room for manipulation or misdirection. This composure flips the entire dynamic, putting the manipulator on the defensive. For narcissists who thrive on creating unease, this unshakable demeanor is incredibly unsettling. They're not used to being met with such fearless clarity, and it forces them to either retreat or reveal the weakness behind their bluster. A Sigma male's directness isn't about aggression or dominance. It's about standing their ground and refusing to be controlled. This ability to neutralize intimidation without losing their cool is what makes them so terrifying to manipulators. They don't just survive confrontation, they walk away stronger, leaving their opponent powerless and exposed. Number 4. They turn manipulators into case studies. Sigma males approach manipulation in a way that completely disarms those who attempt it. Instead of reacting emotionally or feeling victimized, they detach and analyze the situation as if they were observing a case study. To a Sigma, manipulation isn't a personal attack, it's an opportunity to understand human behavior more deeply. This calm, almost clinical approach robs manipulators of the emotional reaction they need to feel powerful. Manipulators rely on provoking emotions like guilt, anger, or fear to get what they want. But when their target doesn't react as expected, they're left scrambling. A Sigma male's emotional detachment shifts the power dynamic entirely. Instead of getting tangled in the manipulator's web, the Sigma becomes an observer, mentally dissecting the manipulator's tactics. They take note of the patterns, the triggers, and the methods being used, all without giving away any vulnerability. This unnerves manipulators because they're used to controlling the narrative. They thrive on emotional chaos, yet a Sigma's composed demeanor denies them that satisfaction. Even worse for the manipulator, Sigmas often use what they've learned to recognize similar tactics in the future, making it nearly impossible to manipulate them again. What's most unsettling for manipulators is realizing they've unintentionally revealed their playbook. Their attempts to control the Sigma not only fail, but also expose their own weaknesses. The Sigma walks away with valuable insights, while the manipulator is left frustrated and powerless. This ability to turn manipulation into a learning experience is what makes Sigmas truly unshakable, leaving manipulators wary of ever crossing their path again. Number 3. They're untouchable by social pressures. Sigma males operate on their own terms, refusing to be defined or controlled by social hierarchies. This independence is a direct threat to manipulators, who rely on societal norms and peer pressure to assert dominance. Most people feel compelled to conform, fearing rejection or judgment. Manipulators exploit this fear, using it to manipulate and control their targets. But Sigma males are different. They don't seek validation from the crowd, nor do they care about fitting into anyone's mold. This detachment from social expectations leaves narcissists and manipulators with no leverage. When a manipulator tries to shame or pressure a Sigma male into compliance, they're met with indifference. Tactics like exclusion, gossip, or status games simply don't work because Sigma males don't measure their worth by anyone else's standards. They're not trying to climb a social ladder or gain approval. They're too busy living life on their own terms. What makes this dynamic even more infuriating for narcissists is that Sigma males' refusal to conform doesn't isolate them. It attracts genuine respect. Their independence, self-assuredness, and authenticity draw others in without the Sigma even trying. This kind of natural influence undermines the manipulator's attempts to control the narrative or dictate the rules. For a Sigma male, freedom from social pressures isn't just a personal choice, it's a way of life. This makes them immune to the usual tricks that manipulators rely on, leaving narcissists powerless and frustrated. They can't control someone who refuses to play the game, and that realization is what makes Sigma males truly untouchable. Number 2. Masters of emotional aikido. Sigma males have mastered a skill that few can claim, turning a manipulator's emotional tricks against them. This isn't about fighting fire with fire or stooping to their level. It's about understanding the manipulator's tactics so deeply that their own moves become their undoing. While others might get caught up in the web of manipulation, reacting emotionally or defensively, Sigma males remain calm, strategic, and completely unshaken. Manipulators thrive on provoking reactions. They use guilt, flattery, or even aggression to pull strings and push buttons. But a Sigma male doesn't give them the satisfaction. Instead, they observe, process, and redirect the manipulator's energy back at them. For example, if a narcissist tries to guilt-trip them, the Sigma might respond with calm detachment, exposing the ploy without being drawn into it. If manipulation takes the form of anger or intimidation, the Sigma's unflappable demeanor makes the manipulator's aggression look foolish and ineffective. This is emotional aikido, taking the force of the manipulator's tactics and using it to disarm them. What's most infuriating for the manipulator is that it's done effortlessly, without drama or confrontation. The Sigma's ability to stay centered, read the situation, and respond with precision flips the power dynamic entirely. Suddenly, the manipulator is the one scrambling, trying to regain control, but only digging themselves deeper. For a Sigma, it's never about winning petty games. It's about maintaining their own peace and integrity. Their refusal to be a pawn in someone else's scheme leaves manipulators powerless and exposed, making it clear that their tactics will never work. This quiet yet powerful resistance is what sets Sigma males apart and terrifies manipulators the most. Number 1. Respect is non-negotiable. For a Sigma male, respect isn't something they ask for. It's something they demand through their actions and presence. They carry themselves in a way that makes it clear where the lines are drawn, and they don't hesitate to enforce those boundaries. This isn't about arrogance or being overly strict. It's about knowing their worth and refusing to let anyone undermine it. Narcissists and manipulators thrive on breaking down those walls in others, but with a Sigma male, they quickly realize it's a losing game. Narcissists depend on testing limits, pushing buttons, and subtly eroding boundaries until they have full control. They use guilt, flattery, or even intimidation to manipulate others into letting things slide. But a Sigma male's self-awareness is too sharp for that. He recognizes the first sign of overstepping and shuts it down immediately. Firmly, but without unnecessary drama. This quick and decisive response leaves manipulators stunned because they're not used to people standing their ground so effortlessly. What really terrifies manipulators is that Sigma males don't negotiate their self-respect. They don't explain themselves, seek validation, or second-guess their stance. This unshakable confidence sends a clear message. If you can't respect me, you don't get access to me. And unlike most people, a Sigma male is perfectly fine walking away from anyone who tries to test their limits, no matter who it is. This refusal to compromise on respect is what narcissists fear most. It denies them the wiggle room they need to manipulate, leaving them powerless and exposed. For the Sigma, it's not about controlling others, it's about staying true to who they are. And that kind of integrity is untouchable. In wrapping up, in a world where many people are swayed by flattery, fear, and control, Sigma males stand as unshakable forces of independence and clarity. Their ability to see through manipulation, resist emotional games, and live life on their own terms is nothing short of remarkable. What truly terrifies narcissists and manipulators isn't just the Sigma's strength or intellect, it's their refusal to play along. Sigmas break the rules of manipulation by not needing approval, validation, or even the social systems that others rely on. The beauty of the Sigma male lies in his quiet defiance. He doesn't shout, doesn't boast, and doesn't seek confrontation. Instead, he calmly observes, sets boundaries, and acts with precision. His presence alone forces manipulators to face their own weaknesses, as the tricks that work on others crumble in front of his resilience. Being a Sigma isn't about being invincible. It's about mastering yourself so fully that no one else can control you. If you're watching this and resonating with these traits, know this: your strength lies in your self-reliance, your clarity, and your refusal to bend to anyone's agenda. Embrace who you are and continue to walk your own path with confidence and purpose. And if you're inspired by the power of Sigma males, Make sure to subscribe for more insights like this. Thank you for sticking with us until the end. Your support means everything. Keep thriving, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, gents, for tuning in, and God bless.